I'm in the oldest and largest Victorian detached gardens in the UK, possibly the world. This is St Anne's Allotments in Nottingham. So I'm visiting my aunt who has an allotment here. Yeah, it's interesting. There's lots of paths. I actually came here 10 years ago to visit Auntie Claire again, and the rest of my family. And I did some mapping then, but OpenStreetMap was quite early. So I did a few roads and paths. It's really big. You could easily get lost here. There's so many interesting things. So there's obviously allotments where people grow fruit and veg. Some are more gardens where people just escape, have little retreats. They're really old, from the Victorian era. So there's little stone or brick outbuildings, greenhouses, some modern kind of sheds, interesting sheds made of recycled plastic bottles. And they've all got numbers or letters and numbers. I'm trying to find them out, map things. A few have names of their plots. Some are part of organisations and charities. So rather than when I was here 10 years ago, I just did some vague mapping and drew in some hedge lines using aerial imagery. Back then, with OpenStreetMap, we were allowed to trace from Yahoo aerial imagery. Absolutely no good in Durham. You could see the green blur turn to grey where the city was, but not enough detail. Whereas Nottingham, this was a bit far out from the city, but just enough to be within some good aerial imagery. So I traced some, but didn't think much of it. I think there's been some tiny bits of mapping, but I thought I'd come back, see how Auntie Claire's allotment's doing. It's great, chickens look great, and I might get some eggs from her. But yeah, I'm gonna map some bits and see what I can find, especially those community gardens and little gardens, interesting bits that visitors that don't come here all the time might be visiting someone's allotment or the organisation's plot, and it'll help them find them. Or if they go for a wander like me to take a break, they can use OpenStreetMap to find their way back. I've noted a few numbers of plots where they are written on the gates. Not that many have them written. I've not worked out what the numbering scheme is. Some have B's, some have C's, but it's not clear when they do, and a lot just don't have the letter when I think they probably should. A few have names, which is interesting, or plots as part of organisations. I've walked down here and there's a few that are C numbers, so I guess this is a C section or a C road. And I found this one that's made me laugh and smile. So it's Nottingham Police plot, but they've called it PC54. I think it's actually probably lot number C54, but they put the P in front because police constable and a number is normal. So I think that's a little bit of humour from the Nottingham Police allotment officers. Can't see what their plot's like, but sounds interesting. I'm flipping a lot between different apps on my phone, the different tools. So keypad mapper's great. It feels odd, it's not house numbers, but I can get the numbers, quickly tap them in, even the letters. So C185 left, B32 right, 31 whatever they are, which is really helpful and makes it faster. I'm using my camera if it's got a name, or more occasionally there's signs for they're not road names, they're path names. 1st Avenue, 13th Avenue. Again, with numbering system or ordering system that I've not worked out. Also, particularly when it's an organisation's plot and they've got a big name or information, I take that with a photo. A lot easier than typing out the full name. And OSM and to find where I am, occasionally looking back to see which way will I go. Maybe I'll loop round. And I can alter that because it's not fully mapped. As I said, I did it 10 years ago and thought someone else might finish off. I'm also using the aerial imagery to see paths if they're likely to go around. This one's turning around into 11th Avenue. I didn't know if it would be a dead end. So I'll take a photo of that sign. And lots of flipping between, but that's good. Mainly taking photos of the plots, the gates, so I can get those numbers. Occasionally take photos of the taps. I guess it's useful to know where they are, but I'm not that interested in mapping all of them because it'll take me time and I don't know if anyone will use it. But they could use OpenStreetMap. It's free. They just got credit OpenStreetMap.org and they can replace that on their notice boards. What's good is they do have some maps that I think someone's just drawn, but the OpenStreetMap will be accurate geospatially, so it will be to scale because I've used my GPS. Also, I'm mapping what's here on the ground, so some of these plots that have names, I don't know if they're still in use or the numbers, but if you were lost, you can at least say to someone, oh, I'm at the police officer's plot, and they can know, or they can look at a map, or yourself you can look at a map, because we can use GPS and maps on our phone, but we can get disorientated still. So knowing landmarks and mapping it to linking it in your head to what you're seeing on your map lets you know which way you're facing. And I tell you what, that could be easier than kind of knowing which road you're on, because yeah, the avenues go both north, south and east, west. And they're not all the avenues are on the map I've seen on notice boards, because it skips numbers. Right, I am going to walk down here, but I need to go back and get a photo of the sign. Was this 11th Avenue? I'm not sure. Let's see. My aunt told me about the heritage garden that's closed today, but is an example of Victorian gardens. But I possibly found bits she doesn't know in my wanderings. This is a wildlife terrace. There was a sign at the entrance. It says it's deliberately overgrown for wildlife, and there's some steps I'm struggling to find. But yeah, maybe she doesn't even know about this. It's interesting, even when you've got a defined area that's fenced off and managed, you think you will know everything that's here. You still find little bits, so I'll have to figure out how to map this. It's part of the allotments, but I guess with this many trees we should map it as woodland, and it's overgrown. Maybe it's not used that much, but I'll map it as a path, and yeah, other people can find it and see what it's like. Yeah, so sometimes when I'm on walks I see edible plants like raspberry bushes or blackberry bushes, even apple trees at the side of a road or in a park where like nobody's collecting it, it's not kind of maintained. I'd map those because you can do that with some tags. I'm not going to do that in the allotment because it's people have planted them, they've nurtured those plants deliberately for themselves and it's private land. But these allotments are so big. There's so many places that the whole plot's overgrown. That, yeah, I mean, particularly this 11th Avenue, there's none of these plots seem to be active and long overgrown years. But I just walked through and trying not to get my shoes mushy. A load of apples on the ground, some quite big ones, some nice ones. Now, I'm not sure which is the apple tree. So overgrown, I feel I should be able to identify an apple tree. Anyway, I could map that as there's an apple tree here, because if you've got access to the allotments, you could come pick up a load of apples. I mean, they're bashed, but come at the right time, pick them up, make some apple crumble or some cider perhaps even. Yeah, maybe I'll map that. Maybe I'll just tell my aunt if she wants extra apples, she needs to walk all the way to 11th Avenue. Now, on we go. This is getting really overgrown. It's a shame some of the paths are locked because you had to have a plot on that line. I'm going to have to walk through this overgrown bit. Yeah, this is a squeeze. There are brambles and blackberries, hopefully no stinging nettles. Maybe there are, I think they're grown off. It's quite clear that, they're stinging nettles as tall as me. It's quite clear that nobody walks along 11th Avenue. Oh no, you're kidding me. This path should take me back to 9th Avenue, whatever the other crossroad is. There's a locked gate. And this is fenced off. I'm going to have to walk all the way back up 11th Avenue. Yeah, past those squashed apples. On we go. Nettles. Well, because Avenue 11, 11th Avenue ended in a dead end, a lock gate, I had to double back. It's amazing what you spot on a second passing, which is why we keep mapping these places and keep our eyes open as volunteer mappers. So I walked past here already, but then notice a sign. I think because of the way I came, I happened to notice it just off the path. So what does this say? This says Stone Pit Copse. Stone Pit Copse. It's some coppicing. I can see the arch has been coppiced quite nicely just above me. But yeah, I think it's the sign looks similar age to the wildlife terraces that I found. So so it's quite overgrown, but it seems a kind of, a bit of a public part of the allotment that anyone on the allotments can go and look. I think this is going to be too overgrown to really go very far. But I'll map it and put it on the map. It might, yeah, I'm going to stop there. It might, if any of the allotment association, the organisers, or the plot holders see this on OpenStreetMap, it might remind them of it. I don't know what the stone pit is. It might remind them of it and decide they want to kind of clear it up, bring it back into life and use. I don't know, or it may just go unused till someone is interested. But I'll put that on the map. I'm mapping the gates and their numbers. I might tidy up where the hedges are, because I'll do that from aerial imagery when I'm back at the computer. I have taken a few photos of the taps where water access is, but I'm skipping loads as well because it's not my interest. I'm not on the allotments. I'm not even in Nottingham regularly to maintain it, but we'll give an indication of how those can be mapped if I do edit them onto OpenStreetMap, and then plot holders or or the organisers could map the rest, and it might help them manage it. If you're looking to get a plot, maybe it's helpful to know where the water points are and what's around and how close you are to the secret apple tree of 11th Avenue. But yeah, I'll get the numbers and the names I see and carry on, and figure out a way back to Auntie Claire's plot. She told me the number, can I remember? It's okay, my GPS is clear where I was hanging about and staying still. But yeah, let's see what else I find. So it is interesting, you had to, the hedges are, they're from Victorian times, so it's hard to see in to the allotments. You have to see where there's bits you can look over or gaps. What is nice is on some of the plots, I guess they were the association run, but there's, to crouch down, this door's very small. They have these signs like this: the Perry Orchard, early 20th century summer house, repaired by STAA staff in 2010. You can see the difference, and that's really fun. You don't need to have access. You can look in and see what's behind the door. To get access, ask at the office if you're interested. Maybe they have some Perry to taste. I don't know, it seems really interesting, and a chance to look inside there. But yeah, I guess that's, maybe it's 10 years old, that sign, and I've seen a few of them, they're interesting. But then I did get a chance to look over. It looks worse than the before picture. So there are, oh, maybe it's not so bad, you can walk around. So maybe the pear trees are still being looked after. Could see more, but if that's a summer house, it's really derelict again. It'd be nice. Obviously there's different time and funding commitment, but it'd be nice for them to keep repairing that and maybe update some of those signs, create new ones for us to look at and see what's going on. People like me that wander around. Yeah, it's been great. There was a heritage garden to see what recreating these kind of detached gardens from Victorian times, so showing us what it would be like, and I think that's regularly open. That seems to still be maintained because Auntie Claire told me about it. Regularly accessed, but it's not open today on a Saturday. So I couldn't see that, and I saw the sign and I took a map of that, so I'll mark it so people can find it, like some of the others. But yeah, wasn't able to peep in that. I think I saw the building from afar. But yeah, it's been great visiting these allotments. And really interesting. I love what they do and the whole thing behind them. But these are exciting things when, you're thinking you're just visiting your aunt and hearing about what she's growing, her vegetables and her compost heaps that she's built, hoping you get some eggs. But then you go for a wander because you like wandering and you find all sorts of things. It is exciting.